Hey everybody, I'm Yvonne Williams with Back to Earth Creations, and in this video I want to show y'all how to make these little 6-pointed starflower bracelet links. This is a callback to one of my very first tutorials here on YouTube, and we were kind of messing about in one of our patron exclusive live streams and made them, and I was like, make a tutorial out of it. So we did. Stay tuned until the end of the video to see some of the featured work of our very talented supporters on Patreon. Yeah, let's get started. Hey y'all, so I have our tools and materials assembled here. These will be listed down in the video description, as well as there will be a link to our website where you can check out our full comprehensive toolkit for everything that we use in all of our videos. But I'm using 26 gauge wire from Parawire. This is an enameled copper core in silver tone, and I'm using up the last of the spool, which I've had this for about 4 years, so it's about time. The beads I'm using, these are just some cute little faceted crystals, around 4mm in size, but you can use whatever you like. Some 20 gauge standard wire gauge rings from Chainmail Joe on Amazon, or you can coil and cut your own. Wire snips, a stick mandrel, my tapered flat nose pliers, and my bent nose pliers. You could also just as easily use like a pen or something, but I'm going to be using the 3mm size mandrel, part of the mandrel. So let's start by, I'm going to be working, I call it off the spool, where instead of trimming the wire, I'm just, let me scooch some of this stuff out of the way, I'm just leaving it attached to the spool. If this is cumbersome for you, I'd recommend pulling off about 15, maybe 20 inches. Parawire is affordable enough that you don't have to be stingy. And it's always better, I think, to give yourself a little bit more than what you need than to end up with not enough. So I'm going to thread our 6 beads onto our wire, our 26 gauge wire. 4, 5, and 6. And I'm going to bring it down till it's out of the way. And I'm going to start by, now that those beads are on there, I'm going to give myself 2 inches or so of wire, wrap once, twice, and let me zoom in. There we go. Hopefully this will, 3 times around our mandrel. You could use your round nose pliers if you preferred that. I like using the mandrel because it's the same thickness for that entire section instead of being constantly tapered. And from here, I'm just wrapping 3 or 4 more times with the little tail of our wire around our stem, and then giving it a little smush. Removing our mandrel. I'm going to trim with the flat side of our snips. My tips are getting kind of dull, so it's gnarling up the, like gnawing up the wire a little bit. So we'll just smush that down. Make sure there's no pokey bits. And now we're going to slide our beads up to the loop that we've just made. Now, if I were using larger beads, I would increase the gauge of the wire accordingly. I try to use the thickest wire that I can fit through the beads. If I had had some 24 gauge wire on hand, I probably would have used that for these beads, but you can also use just whatever you have on hand. So I'm forming a loose little loop around. We don't want the beads crammed so tight shoulder to shoulder that they start chipping, but we don't want it all floppy and loose either. So I'm going to bring this around, and gripping, I'm going to wrap I'm getting a little bit, it was cinching down too tight. By placing my fingers and holding snugly, that can keep the wire from coming too tight. So I've wrapped 3 times. I'm going to give it a 4th just for good measure around. And now I'm going to come down 2, like 2 beads, and give it a nice firm bend, and then do these 2 beads up on the top, kind of partitioning them off, and give it a nice bend. Flipping to the other side, we come here, 2 beads. I kind of alternate from the top and the bottom. By top I mean away from me, and on the bottom is between the piece and myself. And then coming around, there we are. And that was on the bottom, so we'll do this one on the top. Because the goal is I want to get a complete 6-pointed star on each side. So keeping it nice and snug. We're going to get a little, there is a chance of getting a little bit of distortion with your beads and like not having like a perfect circle, but be patient with yourself. We can always tidy it up later. So we've partitioned off, and then doing another 2. There we go. We could have done just 1 wrap initially around the neck. Well, if this is the body and this is the head, that's the neck, because that kind of made it a little messy. 2, 3 wraps around, and now we'll give this a snip and give it a very solid smush. We don't want to distort anything, but I certainly don't want any little pokey bits that'll snag if you wear this as earrings or a bracelet, and you don't want it getting tangled up in your hair. Ooh, super durable. So now we have the first half. It's just a little triangle at this point. Also, at this point, if you'd like, you could put another bead or a small cabochon in there and end up wrapping around it. So we're going to set that down, and we're going to start again, this time with no beads already strung. So we're doing once, twice, and thrice. Giving it a smush because I want them to sit all very comfortable next to each other. Oops, just marred up my nail polish. That's what I get for not waiting until it's completely cured before shooting a tutorial. So now let's come around here, and you can use your pliers if you like, and that gets a very tight coil going. It keeps that tension very nicely. I tried to do my nails all nice for you guys. Yeah, here we are. Okay, so we've wrapped those around. Coming back and snip. And smush. And so now from here, oh, and see I pulled too much and it distorted. So let's get back in there. For this I am actually going to use my round nose pliers because that way we can stretch it back up to size. So I'll have these listed. I didn't list them at the beginning. I'll still have them down in the video description though. So now from here, I'm going to set this just like that. And that's poking out just a little bit. It's going to get wrapped over, but it's still good to try to stay tidy. Let's set this bead on top here and partition off just 2, giving a nice solid bend there. And then 2 on the bottom. Then 2 on the top. And I like to cross over what we've done because this is going to stabilize this loop and keep it from coming detached from the rest of our work. And so that one was those 2, so we'll go these 2 this time. And now right there. And right there. each time kind of just parishioning off to and being mindful if you don't want to go back over where you've already gone or kind of across your design. Just the consistency and repetition of the pattern will make itself happen. So now that we've gone around, we'll go 1, 2, 3, and 1 to grow on, because why not? If I were using a thicker wire, like even just a 22 or 20 gauge, I would be much more tidy about where I'm placing my wire, but with this stuff, I'm not going to sweat it too much. You do your project though, however, organically is what I call it whenever I'm being messy. I'm like, no, it's organic. However tidy and meticulous as you like. It's your project, and that's gonna shine through your own personal style and preferences. So that is how to make a nice little 6-pointed star flower. And from here, to make this into a bracelet, since these loops don't open, I really like using these rings by Chainmail Joe. They are aluminum, but they're very clean. It's a bright aluminum alloy. And we're going to use, I'm going to add these into the video description too. Sorry, I was not thinking straight at the beginning of the tutorial, I guess. My stepped flat nose pliers, and I'm just going to get in here and open my ring like that. Whenever you have a ring, you want it to open, like if you pretend my hand's the ring, you don't want it to open this way because it's going to make a brittle part right here on the ring. You want to open it like how we did here, to where it kind of gets thrown onto the floor. No, I saved it with my lap. Okay, there we go. So because this is going to help you whenever you close it to keep a nice even circle shape. So I'm going to use 2 of these. You could also use split rings if you like, but I prefer jump rings like this. So opening 2 of them, and I'd hook on 1 and 2. And close. And then I'm going to take another ring and go through right where we just did. And, oh, didn't mean to go off camera. Just closing it. And I find that that holds up pretty well. If you like, you could do, I don't know how these beads would hold up to soldering, but if you really want it to be very, very, very secure, you could use a split ring, which is like a very miniature key ring. That I've found that has like little pokey bits, and it always gets tangled in my hair. So I like these jump rings because even though if I did pull on this just with all I've got in me, they would split apart. Most of the time, if you're wearing a bracelet and something's tugging on it with that much strength, you want your bracelet to break, because otherwise it's really going to start hurting your wrist. And that's best avoided, I think. So yeah, we would make this however short or long as we like. We could have used these instead of attaching them to each other. Excuse me. We could have attached them to an ear hook and a dangle bead. The possibilities are really just endless. So, yeah, that's it. If you guys have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave them down below. So starting off with our showcased pieces from our very talented and generous patrons, this is a piece by Lichen Quirky. Be sure to check out all the links actually down in the video description for where you can find these artisans' beautiful artwork. But I loved this piece here. Their loops are so tidy, and the use of stones and the little stone in the middle of the star, it's just beautiful. I also, oh my god, at that obsidian. That is so pretty, and their work is so tidy. Like, I can't express to you guys how proud it makes me that y'all take, you know, what I'm doing in the tutorial and then you go out and you make it so much better and prettier, and like, y'all are amazing. So keep that up for sure. Here we have a beautiful piece by Heather Irvin. I absolutely love the difference in larger beads in the center and smaller beads out to the edge, as well as the use of the Byzantine chainmail. This is, I mean, a truly elegant and beautiful piece, and also amethyst. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Here we have a very beautiful piece by Shannon Avery, and she actually followed along with a couple of our different tutorials to make an ear cuff and some matching starflower earrings, and it's just like, that's a beautiful just whole set of jewelry that I think would look beautiful worn together. I wonder how many more times I can say beautiful about this, but I really, like, I can't stop, my face hurts, I can't stop smiling. Now here we have a beautiful piece. I need to diversify my, what is it, adjectives? These are stunning, actually. It looks like a turquoise, and it's such a beautiful, delicate wire, and the dangly little, just, oh my gosh, knocked it out of the park, Inger. You did a great job. And here we have a lovely by Sea Kitty bracelet. So check out Kylie's work. Sorry, really bad with names. I love it just looks like juicy springtime colors, and I love the contrast bead in the center and just the nice large airy loops. It's beautiful. You y'all, all of y'all did a fantastic job. So my hat goes off to you guys. Hopefully everybody watching this, please go and check out their shops, show your support to their pages and channels and things. Again, links for that will be down in the video description below. So, hey guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me during this video. I really hope that it was helpful to you. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave them down in the comment area below the video description, like you scroll all the way down. Thank you to our patrons and to all of our viewers like you who make these things possible, these tutorials and just everything. I can't express to y'all how grateful I am that we get to do this for our full-time job. So if you are interested in supporting our videos beyond just doing what you're doing, which is a lot already, so thank you, just by spending your time here with me, that's more than I could have ever asked for. But if you want to participate in our craft along club and our behind the scenes previews of videos like this video, our patrons were able to see probably a little more than a week before we actually uploaded it to YouTube. So that way they could kind of craft along if you want to get your work featured, just all of the different things. And that's just at the $1 tier. So the more you pledge, the more you get. I don't even know what that was. So yeah, check us out over on Patreon. Links are down in the video description below. What else is there? We have a comprehensive, like complete curated toolkit on our website now. So links for that are down below as well. And you can also see our featured artisan page and our shop if you want to buy stuff, as well as our list, like calendar of events for our auctions and live streams and everything. So I think that's everything. Oh yeah, if you're watching this, thank you. But if it's the day that it like drops on YouTube and goes like live, if you're watching it within the first hour of it being uploaded, Randy and I will be answering comments live down in the comment section. Like, yeah, so that way we can answer your comments right away, and we will still be answering comments and stuff after that, but it's not going to be as fast, or like, don't hold your breath. So yeah, thanks guys so much for watching, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye.